So, as you know, my thoughts and feelings on Naby Keita. I'm just gonna do a little, a small video on him, and just confirm and just go into detail as to why I don't think I'm being a cascading. I don't think I'm being like on a vendetta for him. It's nothing. I don't hate the man. There's nothing genuinely poisonous there from me, like you get with some fans. But I just think that he's had his chances and he's had his time at Liverpool, and it's just because it's been a disaster. Now, if you actually look at the title of this video, I think it is a question that needs to be asked at the bottom that I've put: worst signing in Liverpool's history with the fee paid, because I just think it is. I mean, if you think about £50 million, we paid that for Fabinho. And Fabinho, I know he's been poor this season, but Fabinho's paid that fee back twice over. If you actually go into detail in terms of Naby Keita and Naby Keita's actual what he's done, I mean, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we lost in the final against Real Madrid last year, he started and he was awful. And if he didn't start, I think he came on and he missed an absolute, oh my God, an absolute disgraceful chance. But, I mean, I'm trying to put this across in the way where I can look like I ain't just got a vendetta against him. So here we go. I can't think of a game. I cannot think of a single game where he has basically just made me go, wow, you know, this lad's just mint, he's just brilliant. I cannot think of a performance where, to me, right, and the reason why I have such a high bar with regards to central midfield is because of Steven Gerrard and Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira and Gattuso. And to me, the reason I say Gattuso is I'm a big fan of a centre midfielder has to be your leader. Jordan Henderson is a leader. He sets the tempo with a pace. He said. I was sat here with my uncle when we played. Who was it? We played a few weeks back, and I just said to my uncle Joe, I just said, "Hey, just watch him in midfield. Just watch him. Just don't watch the game for the next 5 minutes. Watch Naby Keita in midfield." So he did, and all you seen with this lad, and he's just jogging. He's jogging, and he's not pressing, he's not winning tackles, he's not barking orders and having a go and waving, even when he comes on. I mean, he just looks, how can I describe it? He looks like a lad that's coming on a Sunday morning that doesn't really love football, is doing a favour because the Sunday League team can't field an 11. Do you get what I mean by that? Those that's played a game will know exactly what I mean by that. He looks like he hasn't got a care in the world whether we win, whether we lose, whether we draw. He's not asked about scoring. He doesn't want to play a killer pass. I mean, 50 million for a player that, if you go through him as an individual stat, right, can't do key passes, can't win tackles, he's not great on the ball, his passing's all over the place. He has what I have massive bars for, which is no personality, no aggression. So it is what it is, and it's just one of them. So I'm just going to read out the piece here that's just become news this morning by TalkSport, and it's a show that I'm a massive fan of TalkSport because I love football, and Liverpool fans are growing on there. I know a lot of people didn't really like the show, the channel, because of previous links to obviously the guy who used to own the Sun newspaper, but you know, the Sun newspaper we hate. TalkSport's just a radio show where people call up, and it's fans, and the Liverpool fans have been on there quite a lot recently. In fact, John Matip was on there a couple of days ago. So it's great. So they've just done a piece this morning about Keita, and it's this. Right? Liverpool's need for a new midfielder has been the talk of the season, but Naby Keita is proof that they can't afford to get it wrong again. Keita was once tipped to be the player Jurgen Klopp would build his team around, but 5 years after his arrival, he's set to leave for free. And there's a picture on this piece of Gerrard handing in the number 8 shirt, and it kills me seeing this picture, because that's got to be Jude Bellingham now in the summer. It really has. And my next video, by the way, is going to be Nico Barella and Jude Bellingham, so I'll do that next. So it says here, the 28-year-old is one half of only. He's 28-year-old is one half of the only duo among the 9 central midfield options at Anfield who are around peak age, along with Fabinho, and yet a catalogue of injuries and poor form mean Liverpool are willing to cut their losses. Keita is coming to the end of the long-term deal he signed upon joining the Reds from Leipzig in 2018 for £52 million. And any chance of mustering some late season form to warrant a contract extension was surely extinguished against Crystal Palace. Now I love that, because I don't want to see Keita even in the starting 16 today. I really don't, but I think he will be, and I'll tell you why. The youth team have got a huge game today. I'm going to be watching it. It's on at 5:30 on BT Sport. They've got a match in the the Youth League quarterfinals at Anfield. So I'm just trying to remember who it is. Let me just have a look. Let's see who it is. So basically, you know, I think a lot of the youth players that would normally be on the bench will be playing in that. Yeah, they've got Porto at 5:30. So it's one of them. So Arthur Melo's played 90 minutes for the under 21s. Does he come in place of Keita on the bench? Possibly. I'd like to see that ahead of Keita, because he's going. I don't see the point in it as even having him in the midfield anymore. But this piece goes on here and it says, any chance of mustering some late season form to warrant a contract extension was surely extinguished against Crystal Palace. The Guinea international was handed a rare start during a 0-0 draw at Selhurst Park, but for years of persistent niggles and torn away at most of what has made him so converted, Keita was visibly off the pace and was walking a tightrope after picking up a yellow card just over 20 minutes into the game. Despite that, he still committed a further 2 fouls whilst on a booking and lost 10 duels before he was replaced by Harvey Elliott. So basically, he played 45 minutes, right? He got booked in the first 20 and then committed a further 2 fouls which could have got him red carded, and he lost 10 duels before being replaced by a teenage kid who's not a defensive or an aggressive. In fact, he is aggressive. I like Harvey Elliott, but he's not. It's just a flipping disgrace. And here's his injury record. Naby Keita, October 2018, was out for 20 days with a muscular problem. March 2019, 18 days with a knock. May 2019, 51 days with a groin injury. August 2019, torn muscle, 45 days. September 2019, torn muscle, 6 days. November 2019, ill, 2 days. January 2020, groin, 23 days. February 2020, angina, 6 days. March 2020, groin, 5 days. March 2020, ill, 2 days. He gets ill a lot. October 2020, coronavirus, 20 days. November 2020, hamstring, 12 days. December 2020, ligament, 5 days. December 2020 again, ankle, 60 days. October 2021, hamstring, 35 days. March 2022, knee, 13 days. August 2022, hamstring, 92 days. November 2022, muscle injury, 50 days. I mean, that is absolutely shocking. And it goes on to say, Keita remains Liverpool's most expensive midfielder ever and 4th overall in the history behind Darwin Núñez, Virgil van Dijk and Alisson Becker. Such was the club's investment in him. Only one senior midfielder, Thiago, in 2020, has been signed permanently in 5 years since his arrival. Klopp was the driving force behind Liverpool's breaking their transfer record to pay a premium on top of Keita's 48 million release clause at Leipzig in August 2017 in order to secure his services following the summer. When Keita did finally arrive in England, the Reds rolled out the red carpet and drafted icon Gerrard to be part of his unveiling. The then 23-year-old was given the honour of being the first Liverpool player since Gerrard to be issued with the iconic number 8 jersey. Keita said, if somebody like that gives you his shirt number, it's not to play around with it, it's to try and do as much as he did. That's my motivation. Curiously, Keita has had the chance to win every major trophy at Liverpool, including the elusive Premier League title that Gerrard never could. And yet there's been precious little individual highlights, real moments from the former Bundesliga star to match Gerrard's extensive list. Keita started just 9 of the 38 Premier League games Liverpool played in 2019-2020 title season. So he played 9 times in the season we won the league. He was originally named on the bench for both of the Liverpool's domestic cup triumphs at Wembley last season, only starting in the Carabao Cup win after Thiago sustained an injury in the warm-up. Right, Keita also missed the Champions League triumph over Tottenham due to the injury on his own, and then was on the bench again for the 1-0 defeat to Real Madrid in the final. So, if you look at that, he's played 9 times in the season we won the league. He only started in the League Cup final because Thiago got injured in the warm-up. He was on the bench for the FA Cup final, and he didn't even start in the Champions League finals because he's just not good enough. So, had it all gone to plan, Keita would have become the player former teammate Daniel Sturridge expected him to mature. Just weeks into first pre-season, Sturridge said, "I love that guy. I'm just surprised how good he actually is. If I'm honest, I knew he was good, but I don't watch German football too often. I haven't seen a midfielder like him for a while. He is something different. It's crazy. The things he can do with the ball, he can defend, he can pass, he can dribble, he's fast, he's strong, he's got everything." Fast forward 5 years and Liverpool fans are still yet to truly see the player that they were once promised, aside from the occasional moment of brilliance against Huddersfield or Man U. So there you go. In 5 years, TalkSport highlighted 2 games where he was decent. Frustratingly, it could even be argued that Keita's best game in Red's shirt came in the 4-0 win over West Ham in August 2018. So it's highlighting here that his best game was 5 years ago. Wow. Speaking to TalkSport after the game, Klopp said, Keita is a fantastic football player. He doesn't know how good he can be. We have no clue about it. We have only seen signs of it so far. There's a lot more to come as he's still a young boy. Hopefully he will stay injury free and then the future is nice. The prediction almost looks like it's became a curse with hindsight. I suppose Liverpool and Keita get set to part ways in the summer. The jewel in the crown of Klopp's first Liverpool revival won't even have the chance to witness how the next one turns out. So that's my piece there on Naby Keita. Get your thoughts and comments on the video. You'll never walk alone.